Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
Well, welcome to a championship edition of Freed on Business. This is episode 826, and we're going to talk about why the Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup winners. It's going to be a great show. I'd like to welcome everybody to the show. I want to remind everybody we're streaming on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Instagram. Look for us at Freed on Business or at Jim Freed. And I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry for being a sponsor for all these years, 15 plus years. Thank you to Eric, Warren, Ismet, Larry, everybody over at Warren Henry, Gerald, my whole team over at Warren Henry Automotive. And as I said, we're going to talk about the lessons from winning the Stanley Cup that the Florida Panthers showed to us. What was their winning formula? Let's get started. I think the first thing starts with great ownership. After 25 years in the desert between the Rats and the last few years, the Panthers gave away tickets, weren't able to fill the stadium, wasn't a very thrilling and positive place to go to. And then there was an ownership change. They brought in a bunch of proven winners. They allowed those winners to build the team and the culture. They made a plan. They stuck to the plan. And then when the plan didn't seem to be going their way, they took a big gamble, switched out the coach, changed the system that they were using for their play, and lo and behold, they went for it, and they won again and again, and God willing, again. So you watch the games, and you watch the Panthers, and you read the interviews, and you meet the players out around town, and one of the themes that's played over and over again is family. They feel like a family. They play like a family. The most apparently insignificant people on the team are treated just as strongly as the stars are. In fact, the people that hadn't won the trophy last year were the first ones allowed to skate with the trophy. Many of them just journeymen. It was wonderful. The coach told the most, I guess the fourth line is the best way to say it in technical terms. In non-technical terms, the least apparently talented folks were allowed to be on the ice when they clinched the Stanley Cup, when the clock went to zero, because without them, they're the ones that created what the coach calls the inflection point. When the difference was thin between winning and losing and everything was turning on a dime, the people that were the apparently least talented people on the team brought the talent that you just can't buy, and that's heart. So the whole family aspect was built around heart, and you could see it over and over again in what you're reading, and when the players are interviewed, they actually do love each other. And I think that mutual feeling that they have for each other helps them all elevate their game. And they brought in the person that was their arch enemy, and he became the star of the entire playoffs. Well, I guess the second biggest star after the guy that won the MVP. He was the heart and soul. He won these inflection point. He scored these inflection point goals. Brad Marchand is the guy's name. Brought him in from Boston, where just last year or a couple of years ago, one of the Panthers actually knocked him out of the game. This year they shook hands, became teammates, and almost single-handedly, the two guys took him to the championship. Oh, I said almost single-handedly. Let me rephrase that. As members of a highly integrated team where no one was more special than the next, they helped add a little bit of salts and lift the team. Something that's really important is persistence. And I think that it needs to be mentioned how the team really did what they could to stay sharp during the season, but it's a long season. And rather than putting all of their energy into being the best they could be during the season, they put it all together and were the best they could be during the playoffs. And they were persistent. They didn't give up. Whenever it seemed like they were to be counted out, they rallied back came around and rallied around each other and moved forward together, each person playing their role, each member of the team performing their role, and together they brought it all home. Won the Stanley Cup, the most difficult trophy to win in sports. They won it. Now they'll be etched on the trophy for quite a long time. But as I earlier mentioned, they were very flexible. The team was a high-scoring team, run and gun, fancy, hard-charging, points-scoring team, and they, traded for Matthew Tkachuk to bring a new spirit. They brought in a new coach, Paul Maurice, who had never won anything, won a lot of games, but never won a trophy, never won the title before. Was a hockey lifer. Everybody in town was stunned. They couldn't believe what they did, how they broke up the band and reassembled it in a completely new way. It soon became defense and hard energy and hitting and pounding. That was the way they would go. And boy, were they proven right. So they were persistent. They were a family. They stayed flexible. Boy, did they have fun. You could tell they were having fun. It was one of the most wonderful things to watch. The joy that each person had, from Marchand joking that he was eating ice cream after a game, to the, how much more fun do you really get than that? So they brought fun to everybody. And then, I keep on using this guy, Brad Marchand, as the example. He kept interviewing him. He kept talking about living in the moment. He was one of the oldest players on the ice during the Stanley Cup, and he'd been there before. And he just realized that he needed to enjoy every moment because he didn't know when he was going to experience it again. Hopefully he'll experience it again next year with the Panthers, by the way. He needs to be re-signed. Hopefully they'll do that. I'm not a sports reporter. It just looks to me like reading the tea leaves in the paper that they're going to do it. God willing, they will, because he certainly was one of the engines and hearts of the team. He kept telling how thankful he was, and it was obvious that they were all thankful to be there. They all played hurt. I don't know. I've had a hernia, not a sports hernia, but a hernia, and I've never had the muscle ripped off the bone like, again, Matthew Tkachuk did. He came right back for the playoffs, had been out for a long, long time, and played really injured. Hockey never tells you what the injury is, but boy, after they disclosed what his injury was, I can't believe he was actually able to go out there and do it. And so I think that the most important things are that you have to stay focused, stay positive, live in the moment, be thankful for what you have, be thankful for your family, love your family, be flexible, be open to new things, and evolve with time. And so I think that the bottom line here with the Panthers will be what we reveal right after this short break from Warren Henry. Well, for many years, Warren Henry's been a sponsor of the show. And whenever I talk about it, I say, always become a member of the Warren Henry family. And just like the Florida Panthers, Warren Henry, you can go there, you can feel the energy of how the people love each other, believe in each other, and pull together. Each one fills their role, from leadership right on down to service, to the valet, to the person that brings me that signs me up for my loaner car. Every single person at Warren Henry makes you feel like family, just like the Florida Panthers, two winning organizations. Warren Henry wins awards every year. They've got their award-winning Land Rover Range Rover store in South Dade. At West Broward, they've got their store up at 151st where they sell Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, Jaguar, and Lincoln. They've got their beautiful store up in Gainesville where they sell Audis. And, of course, they've got their store down in the Keys where they sell all their great nameplates. And what do all those stores have in common? Well, they all carry great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage, not the least of which is becoming a member of the Warren Henry family. So join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, lots of my clients and friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
Well, today's show is about the Florida Panthers and their championship formula, and I think that we've gone through a whole laundry list of wonderful suggestions and buzzwords of what brought the Florida Panthers the championship. But the bottom line is that it's not just one thing. It's a conglomeration of things. It's ownership, creating a plan, bringing in a team to fill out that plan, filling in the gaps of the team when they can, staying true to the plan, staying positive, playing like a family, loving one another, trusting one another, having fun, living in the moment. What great keys to life. I think that the bottom line is it's a great example for how we should live our life every single day and what we should build towards every single day. And the bottom line here is that we really want the Panthers to do it again. They're a great example for everybody out there, certainly here in South Florida, but I think across the entire Freed on Business nation. It's a lesson that we should all learn. And I want to remind everybody to contact me, Jim Freed, Sandstone Realty Advisors. I advise families from across the globe. I help them implement their business plan. I come up with creative ideas, just like the ownership of the Florida Panthers do. I stay creative and I bring love and kindness to the transaction of the people that I work with. We continue to evolve just like the Florida Panthers do. And I want to remind everybody to reach out to me. You got my phone numbers. You've got my email there below. I'm going to remind everybody that if you missed something on today's episode, you can check it out on the replay on any of my social media feeds, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitch, or Instagram. You can look for us at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business. You can head over to the at Jim Freed YouTube page, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else you listen to your audio, and check out all our other past episodes. I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry Automotive. I want to thank our friends at the Bergstrom Center for Real Estate Studies, where they help me self-actualize and give guidance to the younger generation and network with all of the young people that are continuing to make the real estate industry a positive place for me to practice my business. I want to remind everybody that, oh my gosh, this is really the bottom line here for the Panthers. The person who wants to do something finds a way. The other, they find an excuse. So God bless you. God bless the United States of America. And of course, God bless the Stanley Cup champions, Florida Panthers. I'd like to toss it over to Miami Podcast Studios and tell them, do your magic.